right, talons down. We're on top, we're freaking out because we don't know how to keep them down. Number one reaction of kids when somebody gets up right here is just to lock your hands. All right, you just lock your hands, but that is a penalty point in wrestling. And if you do that a certain amount of times, you will lose the match. You'll actually get disqualified. So we have to learn now how to not lock our hands. All right, so what do we do to not lock our hands? When the whistle blows, first thing we're gonna do is try to come in and grab this guy's wrist right here. We want to chase the wrist, because if I grab Talon's wrist, I can't lock my hands. Everybody clear on that? If Talon tries to get up right here, he can't, because I have his wrist and I have my weight on top of him. If I do not have Talon's wrist right here, my reaction is just gonna be to grab on. All right, now I can't just grab on because he's big and strong. I'll lock my hands, there'll be a penalty point. So our number one goal is to chop the arm and get the wrist. Chop the arm, get the wrist. Now, whistle blows, we chop, get the wrist. Inside, grab the wrist, squeeze. Once we have the wrist, remember that's our wrist. From there, we run chicken wings, we run halves, we do anything to pin them. We haven't got the chicken wings yet, I just blew your mind, but for now we're sticking to halves. Everybody clear on that? Grab a wrist, get a half. Back, set, Talon. Once again, Talon's on bottom. I have to keep him down without locking my hands. Number one focus is getting a wrist. Get set from the top position. We also need to work on our positioning from the top. Get set, knees up, head, belly button, elbow, whistle blows. I chop, knee him in the butt, come inside, grab this wrist. If I grab his wrist, I will not lock my hands. Everybody clear on that?
Yeah.
If I grab his what, I will not lock his hand, my hand. His wrist. Grab his wrist, run a half. We're gonna get with our partners. We're all gonna work that. Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Here we go, 1, 2. Yeah, we noticed this weekend some tips for parents and tips for you kids. If you're wrestling in a crowded gym, there's gonna be a ton of whistles going on because there's usually 8 to 10 mats. What you have to learn as a wrestler when you go compete is you wrestle until that referee makes you stop wrestling. Because normally in a wrestling setting, there's defined out of bounds and areas like that. Little kid tournament, all rules kind of are off the table. All right, you have to wrestle all out of bounds. You have to wrestle no matter what whistle you think you hear. Because what will happen is they'll blow a whistle over there where Coach Casey's standing and you'll be wrestling right here. You're going to stop wrestling. That guy's going to continue wrestling and they're going to score or they're going to pin you and you're going to lose the match just because you thought you heard the whistle. So physically make the referee come and make you stop wrestling. And if you think you're out of bounds, continue wrestling no matter what. Just a little tip that we need to build on as we continue wrestling these tournaments. Any questions there? Okay, good. Now, coaches, just spitball anything from this weekend. Bean, anything that...
I mean, locking hands is a big issue. Staying off the knees in top position.
Staying off the knees in top position. All right, that's when we're talking about running our halves. We want to keep our weight on our opponent. I think we are doing a better job of understanding. The more we keep our weight on our opponent, the better chance we have of pinning them. Our weight is our advantage and our helper. Another thing I noticed was being timid off of the whistle. Being timid off the whistle. We came out, we shook hands, and we didn't know what to expect. As soon as that whistle blows, we need to expect for them to make contact, and we need to expect to wrestle. Is everybody clear about that? Being ready when that whistle blows. Any questions? Another thing that I saw that I feel like we need to revisit, Symphony, come out here real quick. We need to revisit fighting off a half. We do a good job of teaching halves and really trying to give you different ways of pinning people. We need to also work on defending halves ourselves. First thing, if I go out and I run a half on Symphony, we've got to think of looking away. You have to look away. Look away from the half, because if she looks into this half right here, that's exactly what I want. Does everybody understand that angle right there? One more time. If I go underneath Symphony's head to the top and she looks into this right here, it's exactly what I want. So look away, and then with this free hand right here, reach up and peel it off. She peels it off, and she doesn't want to get half, she doesn't want to lose. She also is posting her arm, her hand. She's not letting me run a half on her. Everybody clear on that? That is how we fight the halves. Now, How do we fight the half if it's too late? If it's too late and you feel yourself getting halved and run through. All right, so we're here. I'm half a symphony, and I start running her as fast as I can. She feels me going too quick and too fast. All she's gonna do is keep rolling. I go here. She keeps rolling. Now, that is not what we want to do, but I've seen some kids be really good at that type of stuff. Now, that's something you get with your partner and you get a feel for. You work on driving them over, rolling them over, in different positions like that. Everybody clear right there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fighting the half, first thing we want to do is not let it get to where we have to roll through, but if we have to, we roll all the way through. Also on our back, remember, fighting off halves. We don't want to push. We do not want to push our opponents off of us. We want to create separation with our bridge, get an arm through, get to our bellies. Get to our bellies. Just a couple things from this weekend. We're going to break out. We're going to work on defending halves. We're going to work on rolling through halves. And we're going to also work on bridging, creating separation, getting down to our bellies, because it's crucial. If we get turned, we have to get off of our backs. But if we do a good job defending it, we won't get there in the first place. Y'all get that?
Sir.
Here we go. 1, 2. Work! Get to work!